Hi everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Power of Knowing Forum's LinkedIn Live podcast session 117. We are discussing on the topic of AI in action, creating an AI driven marketing campaign. And we have Mr. Alok Ranjan, top innovative MarTech leader, CMO of the year awardee, startup mentor, a co-founder and a partner for Tarun Advisors, and founder of Fiber Robotic, right? If I am spelling it right. Without further ado, let's bring our esteemed speaker on to the dais and start our podcast session for today. Hi, hello, Ranjan. Welcome back to
Hello,
our.
hello, hello, everyone. Good evening, and this is Alok here, and I look forward to having a nice, interesting conversation with Mr. Prem today for this discussion on AI in marketing, and especially, in the last few months, I should say, things have changed drastically so much in marketing that's something we did not imagine earlier. Most of the things, obviously, with digital technology entrance into marketing, we were quite dependent on automation. We were dependent on a lot of other marketing technologies, but we did not imagine that AI would become such fast. It would become part of the marketing spectrum that we are pushed to use AI in almost all spheres of marketing, and that's what we are going to discuss today. So let's get started, and over to you, Premji.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction and the detail about what the topic today. How is AI transforming landscape of marketing? Because marketing and AI seems to be a new thing that we are talking about, at least for me, because how is marketing getting placed with AI is what we want to understand from your inputs. Hello?
Sure. So let me just start with how exactly marketing has evolved over the years. So we have went from say offline mode to digital mode,
Hmm.
and with the digital tech which revolutionized marketing for the first time in our lives, we could see marketing moving into our living rooms because through digital tech we had we could access things on our mobile phones, and gradually what is happening is the complexity that is increasing with the digital technology. Marketing or brands have now moved from say our living room to our bedrooms, actually. So they stay with us all the time till the time, or even post we stop looking at our large screen phones these days. So that is the kind of transformation that we see in marketing as such. If I talk about the Gen AI era, and since November 2022, what we see is some of the large brands who were earlier using AI primarily for crunching data, especially to ease their decision making, or e-commerce firms using AI based algorithms to understand consumer behaviors, are now seeing that they have come a long way because Gen AI specifically, has made the technology pervasive and democratic. So each and every individual has access to generative AI, whether they are marketeers, non-marketeers. So consumers have become all the more demanding because they could access the same technology which marketeers or CMOs or brand uh, professionals access. So that makes, in fact, all the more challenging for marketing and sales professionals now to use technology in a way which really is hyper personalized and something that can be very, very specific to the needs of the consumers. Second aspect is, if we look at how exactly AI has evolved, is primarily, like, in fact, marketing and sales has emerged as one of the key functions, apart from R&D, IT, or customer service, as part of one of the key areas of research of disruption using generative AI technology. And launch of Gen AI, which has the power to create, it could be text, audio, images, etc., has provided marketers the power to leverage technology almost at zero cost, especially with ChatGPT and few other LLMs, including Perplexity AI, Cloud, Gemini AI as such. So other biggest transformation that I see in marketing, especially, is that CMOs decision making capability is going to be enhanced, because earlier it was primarily subjective based decision making which used to happen, but now you have a technology which definitely can analyze, mine tons of data, your first party data, second, third party data, and give you the kind of resource and give you the kind of insights that you are really longing for. So that would ultimately help CMOs to hyper personalize and be very specific in their campaigns per se. And one of the research right now, I mean, it says that there are around 50% of the organization which are globally have already integrated AI or Gen AI as part of their marketing strategy, and then or somehow they are trying to evaluate AI in one or two areas. So that's the kind of transformation we are talking about, especially when it comes to the landscape of marketing.
A lot of pointers there. Now what is happening is how AI is getting used in the marketing teams, and how specific areas of marketing can be explored with AI is one thing that we would like to understand, because as I told you in the start of the session itself, AI is become everywhere, right? So it is
Yeah.
touching every domain, every field that we are talking about. There are innovations coming up in AI. Now, in specific marketing and sales, to be very specific, we are still looking at how it can be implemented. So, your thoughts on it, Alok?
So see, I have always believed, when even when I was part of as marketing head of organizations in the past. So I always believe marketing has been the nerve center of any organization, and
Hmm.
today, especially because you are just not one function, but you are tied up to multiple functions. You have to cater to the needs of various other functions, and
Hmm.
there's a complex bundle of, say, people, process, resources, and more than, say, 5,000 plus MarTech technologies that you have to choose from. So it becomes very, very difficult for a marketer to understand which is the right kind of technology that I should be choosing.
Hmm.
And that's where understanding the application and the use case of marketing becomes extremely important. That said, there are three aspects in which I see AI can be applicable in marketing. First is from the strategizing perspective, I mean, devising strategy. Second, using AI for creation or generation perspective, which is primarily on you can create as many kind of artifacts or IP material as you want. Third is using AI as part of integration of different MarTech platforms. Because if we look at the MarTech landscape today and the complexity of these technologies, majority of them have started to integrate AI in one or the other format. So that's how AI is entering marketing in a very wide spectrum of ways. For example, I'll just give you a very simple example. Like 10 years ago, when we used to plan a drip campaign in marketing, so we used to, uh, I mean, chart out the entire process on slides or maybe on a piece of paper, and then we used to decide how exactly would be the process flow, or the workflow of this particular campaign. How are we going to reach out? What if someone clicks on the link and reaches out to us? What kind of process that we should be avoid? And the entire marketing team used to get into a hurdle, debate, and discuss, and finally reach to a conclusion. Today, there are automation tools and platforms that are available that simplifies everything in just a jiffy. I mean, you just need a click of a button, few clicks, and you have this entire process of the drip campaign ready. What you just need to do is plug in your template, email templates, and you are set. right? You can depend on technology to write your messaging. You can depend on technology to A/B test your messages. You can depend on technology to personalize it to each individual that where it goes. So that's the kind of say change that we are seeing in terms of AI's application in marketing, and even more than 60% of the organizers. So one, we conducted a research few months ago trying to understand how marketeers are using, and we saw that more than 60% of the organizations have started to allocate budget to use of technology such as generative AI for their marketing efforts. And one of the ways that we see is like, I mean, AI is also being can also be used by marketers to leverage or validate some of their ideas, because it's now you have a tool that can actually validate what you want to strategize. So you go with your strategy, you share, you create a prompt which is absolutely detailed. You share it with the AI, Gen AI platform, and it validates it. You can also cross check and validate whether this kind of a strategy has been tried in the past or not. So you have, say, different mechanisms to validate your idea, and then marketing is coming up with more about coming up with different hypotheses, trying out and experimenting, so that you have a campaign that becomes successful. And the easiest way today to do that is to test it with AI, try and see if it is making sense, and make sure that you are able to interact with your audience multifold. So that's how the application in marketing is evolving as actually.
So we are talking about more saying that earlier we had didn't have an option to test how it reacts. With AI and other things, we can do a test and then see the real scenario. That's what you are saying, Alok, in a sense.
Along with text. So earlier it was primary, more of subjective kind
Okay.
of thing, because you have to go if you have to validate what you are trying out. So you have to always get into a huddle. You have to speak with people. You need to go and test it out, and it becomes all the more like a subjective, okay, because of your gut instincts. You feel, okay, no, this should work, because maybe
Mm.
you would have referred certain case study, you have read something, and you feel that yes, this should work. Now you have that option to validate your idea, not only using multiple things that exist, where the AI will scan through the entire universe of database and give you the kind of validation. The other aspect is you can also validate if you have AI integrated in your database or customer data platforms. So that is where the kind of response that you get is much more data backed than being subjective. So even if, I mean, you have now customer insight, or you have now data to validate even your gut instinct, and yes, on top of it, obviously, after some time, marketeers develop that kind of gut instinct, because it's been there, done that kind of scenario for most of them. So that becomes all the more validated with the technology.
Can you share a case study describing where AI was effectively used to launch a marketing campaign?
Absolutely. So I will talk about two case studies. One, I will talk about something which we are helping as a firm, with a US based technology firm, to do right now, without going into the specifics of it because of confidentiality clause and all of that. So we are trying to help one particular technology firm build a AI affiliate engine, actually, and the objective here is to have a system where actually AI can help you to build your entire end-to-end uh, affiliate program for marketing. So we have identified close to, say, 20 different AI tools
Hmm.
which would help to, right from, say, content part to landing page creation to content syndication to video creation to social media syndication, to different aspects. We have identified where exactly or what are the channels that would be needed to validate or to run the campaign. and that's where we are seeking help, and we are assisting this firm to build that kind of engine, a
Hmm.
campaign engine, which can run and effectively give them and drive revenue. That is one, I would say, a very recent case study which already is in progress for us. Second, if I am not sure, like if many people would remember this, so 2 3 years ago there was an ad by Cadbury's, and the significance of that ad is because Cadbury used a very popular celebrity, Shah Rukh Khan, to customize messages for local kirana stores here in India. So, obviously, for local kirana stores to afford someone as Shah Rukh Khan to promote their store is something that they cannot dream of.
Hmm.
So, what AI or how AI was leveraged here was they utilized AI and machine learning programs to create an advertisement which copied Shah Rukh Khan's face and voice, and it was translated into different languages,
Okay.
which sorry, different businesses could actually use this to promote. So it was so localized or hyper localized for each kirana store that to the level where these kirana stores name were mentioned, and then it appeared like Shah Rukh Khan is talking about that local kirana store which is right beside my house, right?
Hmm.
So that was the kind of personalization that happened, and it this particular ad had I think millions of impressions, actually millions of impressions, and it was hugely successful.
Hmm.
So that's how AI is being used. It's not just about, say, AI integration into different tools at this point in time, but also about AI is also being used to say leverage certain things from predictive to customer engagement to customizing or localizing approach. So that's how AI is being used across a different specific case studies that we see today.
Okay. Great insights there. What are the key AI technologies used in campaign, and how do we contribute it to success? Because campaign is one thing, and how the campaign is successful, how it is getting measured, and how is it getting linked to AI when we run a campaign. Do we see better results there, and how it is getting addressed is what we wanted to understand from you.
Sure. So few pointers here. So first is, like, if I just talk about the previous example, especially that Shah Rukh Khan ad of Cadbury.
Hmm.
So their deep neural network as a technology was used to create some of the videos synthetically. So obviously, the actor recorded one particular video in one particular format. Now, using deep neural networks and AI as a technology, different versions of the similar content was created with custom text and custom voice, right? So that's how it was used as such. So see, it's not just about tools or martech tools in which, or the new tech through which AI is being used right now, but it's also being leveraged through at the model level, building small scale, small models and custom models for businesses which can help them drive results. Other, I mean, there are thousands or hundreds and thousands of tools, at least by now, in the past 1 year since launch. What we see right from, say, if you want to write text, so obviously you have Chat GPT to write, or Sonic for content creation and ideation. You have Midjourney, Dolly to create your images and videos. Tools like there are Optimove, there are Mad JIX, I think Magic X, AdText AI, etc. So these are some of the tools which are good for copywriting, and there are brands which are using some of these tools. And in fact, I mean, very say brands like even JP Morgan Chase has been using some of these tools effectively, and they have improved their uh, outcome of through their copy through their ads to almost 400+%. So that's the kind of change that we see with AI based technology, because technology is objective. The kind of results that we see is objective. It's and then obviously some human intervention is required, but still we have a technology which really optimizes the entire process. One very good and important point that comes to my mind right now, if you look at, say, a simple content creation process. So earlier you used to be, say, 4 or 5 stage process, where you have to come up with an ideation process, then you create a research about it, you create a draft about it, then you write the content, and then you edit the content and you publish. So that becomes like a 5 stage process. With AI, what exactly is happening is the first three, where you have the ideation part, the drafting part of it, and the research part of it, all of these three are being done by the bot.
Okay.
So you are only left with doing the editing part of the content and the publishing part of the content. And even, I mean, there are tools to publish, but yes, for content creation process, that saves a lot of time. So earlier, like if someone used to take, say, 2-3 days to write a blog, now they can create, say, in 2 to 3 hours, or even I mean, if you just don't want to edit it, then it's in minutes that happens. But yes, uh, based on, say, marketeer's suggestion is to obviously customize the content, because what we get from AI is not always correct. So it's
Yeah.
important that we use our own discretion to optimize it, and check and edit the content that we see, and see that yes, it is making sense to our audience, because that's the kind of thing that is 100% required at this point in time.
No, I think you touched upon a very important point where we say most of the things are done on the bot side, but we will little bit address the pointers that people always say that AI will replace people. So we'll touch that point here, because you made an important point where you said most of the things are done, but it is done based on the data that is available for it, and that data has to be validated by a human. So that intervention is one thing that you should understand as a person to compete with the technology that is there. You are one step ahead what that AI is doing, because you have a logical thinking capability which the AI does not, because it refers to the data which is already existing. So
Yes.
that myth of saying it will get replaced has to go in the minds of many of the audience that are looking at, and the people who look at this podcast at a later time. What we should always say is that it is a tool, as you rightly said, Alok. It's a tool that is helping us to take things and make things faster, and with the
Absolutely.
data that is already there. See, if you really look, I would like to add and take a minute here to add what you are
Sure, sure.
talking about. Most of the searches happened because Google came into picture, right? We
Yes.
started search itself. Otherwise, we used to refer to books,
Very
right?
true. Very true.
So
Very true.
when we brought Google to when Google brought us to this kind of a feature, we are surprised that now books will go off. But if you
Yes.
really look at, books have picked up more, and people are writing more books now and publishing more from a digital platform, not on a hard copy. Unless there is a requirement for a hard copy for people who hold the book and read, there are many people who would like to feel the book and read. So those
Yes.
still are there, but many people have come to the digital platform where you see more of digital content. The books are available and they are getting it fast, because you are able to write the content, validate the content, look at the content, fine tune it based on what you wanted to convey, and that's how the whole process of publishing, marketing, or publishing a campaign is becoming easy. Is what I will take from what you've been telling so far. Alok. Is that right?
Absolutely. I think that you have touched upon a very important point, especially from the job perspective. And I thought
Right.
it's on everyone's mind whether AI is going to replace marketers, and especially since marketing and sales has been, say, primary area or function which is impacted by AI. So this question is very much, say, important to address. So where I see is AI should be considered as a co-pilot
Hmm.
to help you
I think
in
that's why Microsoft has made it co-pilot as a
Copilot.
title, right?
Maybe
So,
maybe that could be one of the reasons that they
yeah,
named their AI brand as Copilot,
right.
because AI has to be used and looked at as a Copilot. You
True.
cannot look at as a technology which is going to replace you. And it's important that marketers today start learning this technology more and more, start going through different case studies that exist different, because there are thousands of businesses or millions of businesses that are using this technology in
Hmm.
various formats. So
Right.
it's important that we learn from all of these what's exactly happening around the world. Additionally, we use it, we improvise it, we become like a prompt engineer, because that's something where we see that's something which will definitely become in demand in near future, because more and more marketers will be required to have that kind of skill that helps you to write better prompts to get better results from AI, right? Because and then one other reason to this is because marketing is something which more or less has been very much affected by the market dynamism, especially on the budget side. So that is something that marketeers have always been dealing with in terms of budget limitations and getting things in say limited amount, or having low on resources or something like that. So if we really have to address it, it's important that we adopt this technology in a better way. We become smarter than technology, we start to use it, we become make it part of our integral part of our life. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's we must also understand that it's not that smart at this point in time. So take it with a pinch of salt and try to improvise it, try to use human intervention as well, at least at this point in time. Maybe in future we don't know, because this is a very disruptive technology. A lot of things can happen in future. We are already talking about AGI and artificial general intelligence in a few years from now. So who knows? We don't know. I mean, but still, AI has not been able to match human intelligence. So let's be content with that.
No, see, I don't know if that is the right point that I should make or not. This is my viewpoint because AI cannot replace humans. That's the period.
That's
I
true.
fix it there.
Absolutely.
So I don't know
Absolutely.
how it is going to evolve, but AI cannot replace because we have the logic, they don't have the logic. It can be built,
That's true.
but to a stage which you need multiple iterations to happen, the machine language, the learning language should be so strong that it takes over everything. That's not the case, I feel. We have a couple of questions which have come. I'll bring them onto the screen. Look,
Yes. Yes,
one,
please.
Mr. Abhishek PA, as part of strategizing and creating assets for marketing activities, is there any other way we can use Gen AI? If you can give some examples, Alok.
Yes. So see, Gen AI can also be used for analyzing, especially the data that we have. I mean, if you look at some of the automation tools or customer platforms today, so most of these platforms have Gen AI or some kind of machine learning which is integrated into these platforms.
Okay.
So we should, I mean, apart from just from being referring to Gen AI, which is one part of AI, we should look at AI as a holistic, say, technology where you have machine learning, where you have deep learning, where you have computer vision
Yeah.
and NLP and RPA and all of that. So if we start to look at AI is as a holistic technology, then we have a broader spectrum of use for this technology, because it's Gen AI is one part of it. Okay, you feed in something, you get some output. And it's like, I remember when we were kids in school, we read something called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So it all depends on whatever you feed, the kind of input that you give or the prompt that you share with the computer, you are going to get that kind of result. So it's important as marketers we look AI in a very holistic way, try and evaluate how exactly AI can be used for predictive analysis, how it can help us in data making decisions. Because if you look at, especially for B2B marketing, if you look at there are account-based marketing platforms, and some of these account-based marketing platforms have already started to integrate predictive models in their AI. And these gets integrated with your CRM, and then they analyze and mine your entire say data, first party data, third party data, and all of that that exists in the ecosystem of your company, and it gives you insight which is humanly not possible for any person to come up with. So as because we are talking about hyper personalization, that can only happen once we start to know, if I have say 1,000 people in my database, I should know about 1,000 different parameters or 1,000 different attributes that I can attach to each of these individuals. And that's how AI should be looked at in a holistic manner.
Yeah.
So Gen AI is one part of the ecosystem. Let's also look at from the other ecosystem. Other example that comes to me is like Amazon Go. It's still not very. I mean, it has not come to India yet, but yes, Amazon has set up shops using where it uses computer vision and AI and ML to help people. You walk into the store, you pick up the product, and you walk out of the store. You don't have to stand in the queue to pay or for the product that you have picked up from the store. So different industries, different use cases have already started to exist using AI, and that's how we should try and see what we can use for each particular organization. There could be specific way in which AI can be used, customized, and there could be specific technologies. And like website engagement, for as simple as website engagement, you have AIs that is being built. It optimizes content. It shows different content to different people. You can only do that once you know, like, yes, what are the parameters on which the info or the customer insights that I have developed or the attributes that I have identified needs some kind of say changes, or that needs to be shown to the audience that is there on the website. So that's how I think this entire conversation should be built within organizations, and that's how it will help to look at in a holistic way. I
Uh,
hope that answered the question in a
Yeah, I
better way.
think if Abhishek hope that's answered. We have another person who's Nitin Das. He says hi,
Sure.
Alok, and then he says what are the limits does AI in marketing have? And he's posted a subsequent question to it. Is that also, as you highlighted in the case study of local Kirana store using AI to replicate Shah Rukh Khan's voice, what are the ethical concerns of AI marketing?
Let's answer the first question, which is more on limitations of AI. So you see, I think the biggest limitation right now that we have with AI is that it's not evolved as humans.
Hmm.
So whatever it's again still in the GIGO mode, right?
Hmm.
So whatever you feed in, you get the similar output. You have a well crafted prompt,
Hmm.
you will get a very well crafted answer, right?
Can I
And
add something here for Alok's
yes, please.
system? See, I think what we are talking GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So the kind of pointer that Alok is trying to put Nathan is here is that you have to ask the right questions to get the right answers. That's what I would
Absolutely.
summarize. So, because if you ask something which is a kind of thing which it is getting confused, it will understand what you have told and give you results based on it. Now, if you ask right questions, I think it will search for you and give the appropriate answer. Maybe it's not the right answer, but validation has to happen from your side, is what I will reiterate again here with Alok here. Alok, your take on it, please.
Yes, though I absolutely, I mean, concur with your thoughts there because it's the AI as smart as human at this point
Hmm.
in time. If we ask smart questions, we get smart answers, and that also, I mean, we should be aware that what we are getting may not be 100% correct,
Right.
because if you see like AI throwing some numbers of X percentage rise, growth, and all of that, be assured that, I mean, 99.9% it may not be correct. That's how it has, at least in my case, whenever I've tried to use AI to get some kind of device and I go and cross check this number, I
Hmm.
always see some kind of discrepancy coming from there. Of course, the models are becoming smarter now. There are models which are citing sources as well uh, at this point in time, which actually tells you, okay, we have picked numbers from this particular database or this particular research report. So, except in those cases, still there are a lot of gray areas in terms of AI believing what we get as an output. So, it's important that we apply human discretion. We understand, especially in case of generative AI, where we are more dependent on creating content,
Hmm.
right? Second part on the ethical standards in and concerns in AI. Yes, and one of the biggest ethical concern here is deepfake. And we
Hmm.
already have seen in the past couple of months, especially during election time, we saw that deepfake videos became quite popular. And every day, I think last week also, we had some kind of, or maybe this week itself, we had
Yeah.
a situation where a deepfake video of the finance minister has come into picture. So this is something which is again a bigger menace. And to say curb this, it's important to have certain kind of regulations. There are
Hmm.
Europe has taken the lead. I mean, probably from day one they were trying to have a kind of AI use with where it's mostly fixated upon do's and don'ts. Right?
Hmm.
You can do only these things using AI. You can't do these 10 things using AI, right? So that's the kind of approach that they have taken. But most of the other countries, including the US, Japan, Singapore, India, and various other countries, they have taken an approach wherein they have tried to build or leverage AI to build citizen-centric services. Specifically, I mean, Japan and India being, say, an outlier here, because they are trying to where we are trying to build some platforms or leverage open AI and AI to create things which are going to help with citizen centric services as well, and it will facilitate life, help in ease of living, and because that's needed at this point in time, because there's a huge potential that needs to be acknowledged with this kind of technology. Yes, there are risks, but there are benefits as well, and then the benefits outnumber the risks that we have. We definitely need some kind of measure. It could be in kind of form of some kind of digital act or bill whatsoever that's needed, and I think the government is already studying about it. US has already working on preparing a expansive regulatory reforms on this. India also has been doing it, and things are already in progress. And I think one very important point which I would want to mention is, as a firm, we wrote a white paper on this, which is on ethical concerns in generative AI, and we published this for Indian Merchant Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Hmm.
I think it got published in sometime in April, May this year.
Okay.
It's on our website on torrentadvisors.com. So we have covered this particular aspect in detail in this particular white paper, where we talked about what are the ethical concerns in terms of AI transparency, AI explainability issue that exist at this point in time,
Hmm.
biasness and cybersecurity risk, and all of that exists at this point in time.
Right.
And we have also tried to provide certain recommendations that probably governments and policymakers needs to take in terms to come together and then frame a regulatory reforms or a framework which is both expansive and which tries and addresses the negative aspects of AI which we see right now, especially from the ethical concern side.
I think what we covered so far is we took an introduction of AI marketing and how we talked about the AI application in marketing, and we did a case study. Then we jumped into what are the AI tools and technologies that. Can you tell me some of the implementations and the strategic part where essential steps of designing was in place for a larger campaign?
Yes. So see, before I mean, I talk about the implementation part. I think it's very important, especially in today's time, because we are talking about data-driven marketing and all of that. So CMOs today have the responsibility for or contribute to revenue generation, and
Hmm.
that's one key area which is being tied to their role.
Okay.
Now, in order to say speed up the process of implementing the strategy, there is a tool or there's a technology which is either Gen AI or AI that CMOs can use to validate the hypothesis that they have come up with the kind of strategic implementation that they want to take. Now, let me talk about or let me construct a design or a framework on marketing campaign. One of the important part is, first it's important to identify the objective and align it with the business goal, be it say branding purpose or demand gen purpose or whatsoever the goal of the organization in terms of revenue generation. Align it to those objectives, and once you start strategizing, following by implementation and optimization of the campaign, it's the critical element here is data analysis, because that's where I seriously believe that's where most organizations, because not every organization still have started using AI or Gen AI in terms of to the level where they could use AI to analyze some of these data, because obviously some of these data analysis tools are quite I mean costly and beyond. I mean, not everyone is having kind of a budget to bring in that kind of info say tool to analyze the data. But data analysis is extremely critical, be it's a first party data or third party or second party data from different sources, databases, platforms. And as I said earlier, so ABM platforms in particular can be leveraged, or even customer data platforms. There are platforms, I think Salesforce 360 is one such platform that can really help to analyze some of these data. You have Six Sigma and all of that other data as well. Six Sense and other platforms as well, right? The next is once you have gathered the insight, it's important to frame the strategy for content, because that's where your insight, the attributes that you have identified through insight, would actually be tied up to the messaging that you want to tell to each and every of these individuals that you want to connect to your campaign. Now, once the content strategy is fixed, identify the tools to launch the campaign. And today, AI can actually help you to create workflows, automate these campaign processes, and personalize some of these. And from there, you move on, say, optimizing these campaigns, performing A/B testing, leveraging analytics and reporting. So across all of these, like few years ago when we were doing say most of these activities, say, or at least say 50% of these activities manually, today there are tools that we can leverage, or with OpenAI specifically, there are thousands of or hundreds of tools that are built today, which are available in the freemium model, or they are available at some subscription, that can really help to perform some of these tasks at a fraction of a cost. So that's how most of the say strategizing and implementation of the campaign can really happen in today's time, helping to get you the results that you want.
Thank you. That let's discuss some challenges and solutions. But what are the common challenges companies face when integrating AI to their marketing efforts?
One very big challenge which I see is, in terms of skill gap.
Yeah.
Okay, because skill gap is something which is still, and lack of familiarity with AI tools, because not everyone in marketing is still, say, reached a level where CMO can depend on that particular resource, saying that yes, he is an AI champion, kind of thing. So yes, I think AI teams should, or marketing teams, CMO should plan to train their team on understanding and leveraging of some of these AI tools that they need to use. Second, and marketing is now like fully data driven kind of thing, right? So in order to
Mm.
drive success from the campaign, you need to include automation, AI tools that can drive process efficiency, provide customer insights. If that's not part of this, because of, say, budget constraints, or because of any other challenges that within the organization you may face, then it's sure that all that effort may not yield an optimal result, is something that is definitely a big challenge as of now. Third, I guess, which we already discussed, is about Gen AI is not fully ready. So we
Mm.
have to take it with a pinch of salt. We have to understand that we have some technology which is not ready, which
Yeah.
commit errors, and we have
I
to try
think
and
somewhere I was seeing where I think it was on one of the chat GPT platforms or a co-pilot platform where it clearly said the data that is presented is based on the data available with us. Please validate your
yes,
data before you take any further steps, something like that. So I'm not getting the right words, but it gave a caution saying that I have picked up information from the sources that is available in the model and
that's true.
presented it to you. So you'll have to revalidate, look at whether that makes sense for you, and it makes a point that I'm not giving you data with. See, I think you made two three important key points here is Alok, is that it is like again the Google pieces of work where we searched and there were some URLs which were giving you redirection which may not be the right answer. The same thing also applies here because it goes and refers to some of the sites which are only to make you more confused rather than getting you more clarity.
That's true. That's true.
So that is one point that you should look at having an implementation checked and validated is what you are trying to emphasize as many words as you have said so far, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're 100% right. And yeah, apart from all of this, ethical concerns, yes. Again, that's a big challenge, especially
Yeah.
for large organizations which cater primarily to the B2C crowd. It is a big challenge because AI still has the, ability to uh, do brand infringement, brand copyrights can be infringed using AI. So all that challenge still exists with this technology.
Now, what is the advice that you would give for freshers and young professionals pursuing a career in AI and in specific marketing?
So, see, I think it's important, as said, that if someone who is very much interested to learn about marketing or to start their career in marketing, apart from understanding the tenets of marketing on the 4 P's and 7 P's of service marketing and all of that, 4 C's and all of that, it's important to also start learning about different technology tools that marketers use, because and that's where I see a big gap at this point in time, because I've been interacting with a lot of say business schools where I have been going and talking about use of AI in marketing per se, and it there is still that kind of gap that exists in the kind of curriculums that are there, where the stress on tech is missing.
Hmm.
I mean, it's important. Yes, strategy is important. It's important that we understand the process that goes on in different organizations. But technology integration within marketing is all the more important right now, and that is one area that just cannot be ignored, because you have 5,000 plus tools in martech, and it for a marketer, even whether you are B2B or B2C, it's impossible to function without using these tech today. You need data insights, you have to depend on some tech. If unless you want to spend, say, days and months to analyze some data, and then come, by that time your competition will outsmart you and
Yeah.
launch and do the, I mean, outrace you, right? So if you have to really try and become accelerate the process, it's important that marketers start to learn this right at the college level, especially at the when they are trying to learn about marketing specialization, trying to understand more about the subject and different aspect. And this is just not restricted to marketing as such. Yes, I mean, there are lot more tools in marketing as compared to finance or HR. But yeah, I think it's important that all specializations get that kind of perspective wherein they learn about technology, because it's technology is not just IT and systems prerogative today.
I
It's
think
it's everyone's
no.
say
Now
cup
I
of
think
tea.
IT takes a back seat here. Now, if you really look at
Very
it,
true,
is a
very true.
strategy that is there, and with that strategy, how do you bring technology is what is becoming a key thing. Because now earlier, if you see, we had few tools where we
Yes,
wanted to look at. Now the tools and the technology stack is so evolved over the period. What we have seen is the architecture plays a major role at the moment, and how the structure you want to build up a system. And
yes,
it depends, again, you want to bring it up with an enterprise class application or an open source class application. It depends again. So
yes, yes,
technology is just an enabler today. See, again,
absolutely.
one example that we would like to take is when we started as an IT professional way back. So the desktops were the norm, right? And if you have
Yeah,
a desktop at home, you were considered a tech savvy guy at that time.
absolutely,
Then
absolutely.
came laptops, and if you have a laptop and this configuration, there were specific configurations which were used for gaming and editing and stuff. That if you have, then you. Now you see, even a shop has everywhere there is a technology that is available for them to use. And with India being the largest consumer of internet, and everybody is on the go while they do, so they do a lot of things while they are in move, right? Technology
Yes.
again is become an enabler here. What kind of thing, what application, what is driving the market is more to do the strategy, what kind of business that they want to look at, and how AI can help is to reach with this common sector, and the class that it has to reach is what is going to play a major role, is what I understand. What do you think on
No, I think very rightly said, actually, and in very clear words. Because if I have to validate this one point here, is it's like it's important, and in most some of these industries it has already started, where the CIOs and CMOs have started to work together,
it? Yeah,
especially from driving the customer experience perspective. Because it's just not about the tech that is going to take care of the customer experience part. It's more about driving it and creating a customer life cycle with wherein two different functions come together, and then they create a complete end-to-end experience for
yeah,
their consumers or customers, right? So
yeah.
that is the kind of integration with tech is happening, and I think we should all appreciate this going ahead. That makes it all the more important for freshers and young professionals to start learning about it. Start slow. I mean, and I think one is very good example, which I always keep talking about it. It just doesn't matter whether you come from a science background or IT background or a commerce background or management background. It's all about interest. You just Start studying it, start reading about it. You will become
Absolutely.
interested. And it's like, I just one example again, here is I am a BSc agriculture graduate,
Okay.
right? Someone, I mean, agriculture and technology, they are poles apart, right? But
True.
today, I think the two have come together. You see agri-tech being formed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Technology is enabling agriculture in a bigger way. And it's also, and I started my career with a company called ITC and the software division of ITC Infotech in Bangalore way back. So it's something coming from that background, getting into marketing post graduation, and then doing, I say, working in an IT company, trying to sell or reach out to customers using technology and selling them technology is something. It has just happened to me, right? And
Mm.
it's like it's and that kind of interest has come by reading about it, discovering a lot of things, showing interest in and learning about it. And trust me, technology is very, very interesting to learn, is what I would say to all freshers and young professionals. There's a lot, and especially with AI, yes, it has become all the more interesting actually.
Thank you for that. I think with this advice, I think we have covered up major of the pointers that we had in mind. We wanted to
Sure.
summarize, or we wanted to see again. I'll repeat on what we put a pointer. We spoke about AI in marketing, case study, AI technologies for marketing, strategies and implementation, challenging and solutions, AI with targeting some of the future trends that we spoke about, and what is the advice that we had for the new generation of people, freshers and young professionals who are looking at AI for their future career, is what we discussed. I think these very crucial points where you have touched upon. AI is everywhere. Again, we would emphasize AI is become a technology for us at the moment for enabling our businesses.
Yeah.
That's where we look at. Thank you for joining us today, Alok. It's been a great session that we had today. To the audience, please do follow us on LinkedIn, which is our primary platform for hosting these podcasts. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. We hope this session has been useful and valuable for you. With our next topic being scheduled on the 16th, we have our topic on the same time at 16th on 6:30 p.m. IST. The scroll is going on the pointer that we are going to discuss on 16th. Please join us with this. See you on 16th. Thank you for joining us. Great to have you on the show today. Alok, any final questions or pointers that you want to mention? We
No,
could.
thank you so much, Prem, for inviting me once again on your show. And I have been following your entire sessions, and it's quite, I would say, there are a lot of insights that get shared on this platform by various other thought leaders who have come in the past and talk about, from cybersecurity to personal renditions that people have, to talking about book reviews, and a lot of topics that are being discussed. I think it's a storehouse of information that you're building with this kind of platform. Thank you so much once again. And yeah, I mean, love to interact and stay connected with you always.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you for that insight. And it's been a pleasure having you on the second time in our show. We'll see how
Thank,
we can enable much more interesting topics with your knowledge and the experience that you are having. This platform is only to look at having experiences shared, use cases, and the leaders talking about their passion is what we wanted to drive in, as you rightly said. Thank you for being here and good day, Alok.
thank you. Same to you.